These khutbahs are not going to be about sellouts. They're going to be about the advice that is so timeless that Allah gave, that some people who meant well for him, and they gave him some advice, and Allah saw it fit that until the Day of Judgment, we should be reciting this advice. We should be reciting this advice, which means this is timeless advice. This individual, the story is not about one person. This is a story about a kind of person, a type of person. And it's not even what he was doing with the Pharaoh and all of that. It's actually what's going on in his head. Why is he the way that he is? His people tell him something very strange. The first bit of advice they give him is لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. His people who meant well for him, the translation says, don't be happy. Allah doesn't love those who are happy. That sounds really bad. Because if somebody's happy and you're like, Allah doesn't like that, here's the ayah, لا تفرح إن الله لا يحب الفرحين. Don't be happy. Allah doesn't love those who get happy. This is a misunderstanding of the ayah. So let's understand what farha means, or farhan means. Actually, this word in Arabic means to be overjoyed with laughter, or to be overly excited and overly entertained. And the point is, when people have a lot of money, their life is one exciting activity or an event to the next one, to the next one. Hey, we're going to go to the beach this weekend. There's a wedding next weekend. There's a party this weekend. There's this tomorrow. There's this movie coming out. There's this. And every time, oh, that was awesome. And that was awesome. That's actually la tafrah. Meaning, you're just looking for one high, to the next high, to the next high, to the next. That's your whole life. That's your whole life. Some people, mashallah, their whole life is one party to the next party to the next party, one dinner, one potluck, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. They can't even take a breath in between, and they're just going from one thing to the next to the next. Some people, it's movies for them. Some people, it's sporting events for them. And they're, fanatical fans. And, so these kinds of things, just one crazy experience to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, and that's all that life becomes. Every free moment you have is just looking for that exciting high. And the first advice they give him is, life is more than these highs. How many weddings you're going to attend before you realize it's the same thing? How many, people are like making videos and taking pictures, and they look exactly the same. They don't look any different. There's still the same mind-thumping, sounds in the background. Nobody can hear anybody talk. Everybody's staring at everybody else. Everybody's getting in line eating the same food, and then all meaningless conversation. And then you come back next weekend, same thing. Next weekend, same thing. Next weekend, same thing. And just keep posting pictures of how happy you look, and it's all fake anyway. How many filters you had to go through, And people are fighting on their way to go to weddings, or arguing with each other when they're going to a party. But wait for the picture, they got to look all happy. And then post it having a great time while they're miserable, while they're utterly miserable, and they have to fake with each other. And so, like this idea of showing people how happy you are, how great your life is, how wonderful you look, right? This facade you have to put up, and people have to put up. There's no point in putting up a facade. Why are you looking for this next high and showing people? Why do you have to show it? And فَخَرَجَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ فِي زِينَتِهِ is coming later on. He came out in front of his people all decked out. He was trying to look real good in front of them, like his ride, his entourage, the look and feel, and he wants to show to people, look at the kind of fun I'm having, look at the kind of life I'm enjoying. And guess what? The ummah is now flooded with mini Qāroons, who are just living from one moment to the next, seeing what can they post on social media to show the world how epic their life is, so they can come out to their qawm in their zina. فَخَرَجَ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ فِي زِينَتِهِ. And why? And what did people see when they saw that? They're like, يَا لَيْتَ لَنَا مِثْلَ مَا أُوتِيَ قَارُونَ. Oh, I wish I had what he has. Man, look at where they are. Look at how they're dressed. Look at that car. Oh my God, they're having so much fun. I wish I could go there. I could be like that. I wish I could look like that. That's all. It's become all day just scrolling through other people's lives and then coming up with your own fake version of your life and putting that up and showing them. And This is Qāroon. This is why Qāroon is being talked about. There's a reason. Because people can get sucked into that fake life, and their years will pass by, and Allah did not create the human being. He did not put the human being on this earth to be entertained. He didn't put us here to have a few laughs, and then to go back to being delusional, and to be oblivious to what really this life is, and what we have to earn here. Nobody in the ayat, please don't understand, the ayat are not saying you shouldn't be happy. That's not the point at all. Actually, people that run after event, you know what they're really doing? They're running away from their sadness. They're actually realizing that none of these things are ever filling up their sadness anyway. So they have to keep getting the next one and the next one and the next one because there's a void inside. And maybe for a few moments they can forget. They can surround themselves with beauty, and they can surround themselves with luxury, and they can surround themselves with an entertaining environment so they can forget how ugly life really is. And that they don't want to face. Don't become like that. I pray I don't become like that, and I don't wish that on anybody else. That's the advice they're giving him. They see through it. His people see through it. You got all this stuff, but what do you really have? What do you really have? It's remarkable how many wealthy, well-off, famous, admired, looked up to, good-looking people from Hollywood or the music industry or the entertainment industry are so miserable on the inside. And how many of them commit suicide? It's a shocking thing. You would look at them from the outside and you would think they have everything a person could want. But apparently all those things are not filling a hole inside. And it's leaving them to the point where, suicides are being committed. And I went to college a long time ago, and even when I was studying psychology way back when, there were statistics that I was shocked by. Back in the 90s, there were statistics on Orange County. It was one of the wealthiest counties in the United States, in California, and had the highest suicide rates. The wealthiest places in the country had the highest suicide rates. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the reality of running after fake happiness. It keeps creating, the hole keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and nothing's filling it. Then Allah describes, and this is the advice that I'll start with today. This was the first thing was, don't live this, high to high life. Don't do that. Don't reduce your life to that, to this entertainment. But the next advice is وَابْتَغِي فِي مَا أَتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةِ. It's very powerful advice. And if I just get through this portion of the advice, then we'll leave the rest for subsequent khutbahs. And that is, you should pursue within whatever Allah gave you the next life. That's a loaded term. Run after the next life within whatever Allah gave you. Now what in the world does that mean? What it means a few things. The first thing it means is Allah has made some things clearly halal for you. He's made some things halal for you. And He knows that the things that are halal for you are things that are good for you, that are beneficial for you, that are actually a blessing for you. And when you enjoy what Allah has made halal, actually that in and of itself is an act of worship. In and of itself, enjoying the permissible and thanking Allah for the permissible is an act of worship. So when somebody gets a job, and it's a good job, it's a permissible job, then even when they're at their job, they're doing worship. When they earn that money, that earning of that money is worship. When they buy good halal groceries or eat food that's good permissible food from that money, or buy clothes, that buying of the clothes didn't just benefit you in this life, that's actually an act of worship too. That's an act, because you're within what Allah gave you, and every time you're doing that, you're not just benefiting yourself in this life, you're actually building your next life too. Because you're staying within the boundary of halal. When you do that, every act you do that will give you happiness in this life too, but it will at the same time be building your akhirah account also. So why not do that? Why not stay within the halal? What does shaitan want you to do? Same thing he wanted our father to do and our mother to do. You've got all these trees that are halal, but the one that will get you real good life, the one that will make you real happy, is that one that's haram. You've got 1 billion trees, but that one is going to look juicier than all the rest. And what's the devil going to come to you and me and do? All the halal is available in front of you, it's open in front of you, it's easy in front of you, but he's going to make the haram enticing. He's going to make that look better. If you really want to be happy, go after that. And the advice given to him is, look, you have money, you have opportunity. Within what Allah has given you, you should look for the next, something that will benefit you in this life and in the next life. Earn in the right kind of way, spend in the right kind of way. Spend time in the right kind of way. Everything that your body needs and everything you need or want in this life, there's a halal avenue for it. There's a good, blessed avenue for it. When you go after that avenue, life will be good. Life will be good in this world and in the next world. So وَابْتَغِي فِي مَا أَتَاكَ اللَّهُ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةِ. But when somebody hears that and you give somebody who's living the party life that advice and say, listen, you should just do something that will build this life and the next life. You say, oh, you don't want me to have any fun. You just want me, because the more Islamic you get, the more miserable your life is. Look at all the Islamic, oh, that guy looks depressed, he must be Islamic. Oh, these people look so sad, that must mean they're religious. Because the closer you get to religion, the sadder and sadder your life is. I just want to live, I just want to breathe, I just want to enjoy my life, I just want to have some fun. There's no harm in me having some fun. And you know what Allah's response to that is? وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Don't forget your portion in this life. Meaning, Allah is saying, yes, stay within the halal, sure, stay within the halal, but that doesn't mean you're going to have a bad life. That doesn't mean you're going to miss out on anything. There are some things Allah wants you to actually enjoy in this world. I've repeated this in many khutbahs before. I'll remind you as part of this discussion. Allah created this earth and He put trees on it, but He put trees in Jannah too, right? He put rivers here, He put rivers in Jannah too. He put fruits here, He put fruits in Jannah too. He put spouses here, He put spouses in Jannah too. He put meat of birds here, He put meat of birds in Jannah too. He put drinks here, He put drinks there too. He put mansions here, He put mansions there too. Everything He describes in Jannah, that's so beautiful. Palm trees, rivers, gardens, lakes, beautiful companies, servants. All that stuff is here, isn't it? And when you think of it, you're like, well, you realize Allah made this world a preview of heaven. It's not even close to what heaven's going to look like, but at least it gives you some idea. At least it gives you some idea. Because if we never knew what a river is, or what a tree is, and what drinks are, and Allah said, I'll give you drinks in heaven, we'd be like, well, what's that? Why should I be interested? What are palm trees and waterfalls? Why should I even be interested in something like that? And today what happens? When there's a waterfall somewhere, a beautiful waterfall, and anybody's building a house or a mansion on top of a hill that overlooks the waterfall, that's some of the most expensive real estate in the world. Why? Because what Allah put in Jannah, people see that as Jannah here too. Man, I wish I had a house like that. You see? So Allah made this world to actually give you a preview of heaven. So what He made halal on this earth, وَالَّذِي خَلَقَ لَكُمْ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. He put it for you to enjoy. And He says, قَلِيلًا مَا تَشْكُرُونَ in Surah Al-A'raf. He says, how little you're grateful. But what we do, what the devil comes and tells us is, well, if you stay within the halal, you're going to miss out. There's some stuff you deserve. You want to be happy? Here's some things that are going to make you happy outside of that. Outside of that. And that's what He wants. And Allah wants us to stay within that and find our happiness, because Allah is never going to make us miss out on what He wants us to be created for. How can we be grateful if we're miserable? You're grateful when you enjoy a blessing. So Allah made the halal actually a means of enjoyment in this life and in the next life. Here's the other piece of this puzzle. When Allah gives us, He doesn't just describe halal as halal, which is permissible. He describes it as tayyib, كُلُوا مِمَّا فِي الْأَرْضِ حَلَالًا طَيِّبًا وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Halal is described as good and pure also. Good and pure means it's good for you and it keeps you away from becoming impure. What does that mean? That everything that isn't halal brings some kind of corruption, is bad for you, and it brings some kind of disease into your life, problems into your life. It doesn't solve my problems, it makes them worse. Shaitan wants to manipulate my emotions and make the haram look good. But when I fall for that trap and I go after the haram, I will only get misery. I'll never get happiness that way. No matter how much he tricks me, no matter how much I fool myself, I just won't find it. وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. We're going to actually talk a lot more about وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيا and وَابْتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةِ. Two more dimensions of these portions of the ayah in the subsequent khutbah to come. But for today at least, I wanted to remind myself and remind all of you that life is very, very short. It's very, very short. And you and I have something to show before Allah. We were created for a much, much higher purpose. We did not come on this earth to just find ways to escape our problems. We didn't come for that purpose. We came on this earth for a much higher purpose of doing good. Allah has given us the ability to do a lot of good. And if we don't use our potential and our talent to do something good, we're actually only absorbing it on where all of our energy is directed at ourselves and not actually doing something good in this world. We're missing out on the huge burden that Allah put on top of us. So I pray that we internalize that and we're able to really see for ourselves, what good am I going to leave in the world? What good am I going to do? And how much of my thoughts are just about myself and what I want and what I need, and how much of my time, energy and pursuits are actually about, one, staying within the halal, And two, actually doing something for others, actually spreading some kind of good, doing something of benefit. And I pray all of us become people of benefit. You don't have to benefit millions. You can benefit one person next to you. You can benefit a child. You can benefit a family member. So long as you're being of some kind of benefit, then at least there's some purpose more than yourself, more than myself in this life. I pray Allah gives all of us that. Barakallahu li